So now we will proceed with our sermon. My scripture readings are from Genesis in the Lamsa translation of the Bible. My first is chapter 1, verse 1. God created the heavens and the earth in the very beginning. My second scripture is chapter 2, verses 1 through 3. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the sixth day, God finished his works which he had made. And he rested on the seventh day from all his works he had made. So God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because in it he had rested from all his works which God created and made. Thus ends the reading of our scripture, Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, and chapter 2, verses 1 through 3. Genesis tells us the story of creation. And in the first 6 days, God created everything from the heavens and the earth to the stars and the moon, to every living creature on the earth. God created this magnificent world that we live in. And on the seventh day, God rested. Imagine that. On the seventh day, God rested. Our scripture lesson illustrates the importance of making space in our life for rest. We rest our physical and mental bodies. And we also allow what we are creating to rest. We become so focused in accomplishing our goals. We go 7 days a week from dawn until dusk. We get so caught up in what we're doing that we forget to pause. We forget to pause and rest. And to pause to reflect on what we're creating. Now, maybe I'm just speaking from experience, because I know sometimes I forget to stop. When we stop and rest on the seventh day, it serves several purposes. It serves as a time of inner reflection, carving out time from our schedule to meditate, attend worship services, or immerse ourselves in a hike in nature, reconnecting mentally and spiritually to the source, connecting ourselves with God. The capital G-O-D, as in the ultimate reality, and the small g-O-D of the God within us. As divine metaphysicians, our goal is to weave our meditation into our daily routine and reaffirm our connection with God every day. But the seventh day is symbolic. We have come to associate this seventh day of rest as Sunday. Traditionally, many worship services occur on a Sunday. But that doesn't mean that Sunday has to be the day of rest. Some of you may remember, now I'm going back a couple years, way back, but some of you may remember that back in the days, we had what was called the Blue Laws. And the Blue Laws stated that stores were not permitted to be open on Sunday. And when I grew up, the only stores that were open were pharmacies. Now, I think there's something to be said for that. Downtime. The workers got a break, and we were forced to take a break. And I remember that during the summer, my family would go to church on a Sunday morning, and afterward, we'd spend the day together. We packed a picnic and hopped in the car to take a ride to the mountains. And I looked so forward to our outings together. Sometimes we'd stop at the lake and go swimming for the day. We spent quality family time together on our day of rest. Resting on the seventh day, it also gives us a chance to contemplate our creation, to step back and reflect. Reflect upon what we have created thus far. And when we do this, it offers us a different perspective. I enjoy painting, and I become so engrossed in my painting on a granular level that I remind myself I have to get up and step back from the easel, to stand back and look at it from a distance. Because when I do, I gain a different perspective. And then my creative juices begin to flow and inspire me as I sit back down to paint again. The same is true with our goals. We begin the process of creation and manifestation, and we become so intent in finishing that we forget to pause. Perhaps if we had stepped away, we may have gained a different perspective through divine inspiration, which may have been beneficial. The seventh day is also a time to unplug and a time to recharge our batteries. Many of us are emerging from our COVID cocoons. For those who have been able to work from home for the past year, we have been so very fortunate. It has certainly come with its perks, and I know that I have been blessed to do this. But on the flip side of the coin, our home has become our workplace, and the lines have blurred between the two. Added to that, there wasn't much we could do. So many of us didn't take a vacation and have that chance to mentally detach from our work and from the world. I often reminded my coworkers to take time off, but most preferred to just save their vacation times because they were so limited in what they could do during COVID. They were waiting to get to the other end of the pandemic. And I completely understood. But what this meant was that we didn't disconnect. We didn't disconnect, unplug, and get that much needed, necessary mental break. And now, once we were given the green light here in the US, that it was safe to emerge from our cocoon, we began flocking to the airports and to the beaches, wherever we could go. People were hungry. They were starving for a vacation to get away. Folks wanted to unplug. There are many who are just now getting on an airplane for the first time to take this much needed vacation or to visit family and friends. We need to rest. We need to unplug from our computers, our phones, our iPads, or our whatever. There is something to be said about sitting on a beach and watching the waves roll in and doing nothing. Doing nothing and all day except reading a book, napping, or daydreaming. or perhaps swinging on a hammock on a warm summer day, sipping lemonade or iced tea and reading a good book. Tuning out and turning it all off. Robert and I recently had a screen porch built, and we find ourselves sitting there for hours, just listening to the birds, watching it rain, and immersing ourselves in nature. We unplugged ourselves from the TV and we plugged ourselves into nature. And at the risk of sounding nostalgic, it reminds me of the good old days. Sitting and doing nothing. Just being. The lazy days of summer. Kids get a break from school to play and have fun. It's time for adults to take a vacation from work to play and have some fun too. So remember, take time for yourself and rest, whatever your pleasure may be. Ecclesiastes teaches us there is a time and a purpose for everything under the heaven. There is a time to create, and there is a time to rest. Remember, take the time to rest, disconnect, and unplug. Resting on the seventh day is a purposeful pause. It gives us time to plug into the source of God and allow this divine energy to re-energize our batteries. It helps us to reframe our perspective. Enjoy the lazy days of summer and just be. God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because in it he had rested from all his works, which God created and made. Namaste.